You ever have an off day on the guitar? Kind of feels like you're going around in circles a little bit, and not the good kind of circles like the kind that make cars go fast, or the kind that you wind up smearing cream cheese all over on your weekends. You know, the other day I had a pretty discouraging practice session, and it wasn't the first time, it certainly won't be the last. And I sort of realized, if I'm encountering days like this, I'm sure that other musicians are as well. I guess in a way, obstacles, setbacks, challenges, these are a really natural part of any worthwhile endeavor or passion. And if we're not having them, it's probably a sign that we're not pushing ourselves hard enough to progress. With the right approach, you can definitely break on through to the other side. And so with that in mind, let's have a little bit of a chat about some of the challenges we encounter as guitarists, and more importantly, the strategies we can use to overcome them. I'll share 5 of mine, but I hope that by the end of this you feel inspired to share some of your own in the chat below. Let's dig in. Oh, you know what? Wait. First, a message from our sponsors. Today's video is brought to you by E7 Sharp 9. A chord that contains both a major third and a minor third, and in that way reminds us that mixing sweet and sour can be pretty groovy, baby, yeah! So tip number 4 might be my favorite, but let's start with something simple. Tip number 1 is just take care of the essential. And what I mean by that is the basic stuff, like get good sleep and make sure you're hydrated. Or maybe if you have something that's distracting you in your personal life, go ahead and reflect on that and see what new solutions you can come to. Tip numero dos is to take care of your gear. And I guess I should say, take care of your gear and the space that it occupies. Let me get a thumbs up if your practice space has ever looked like this. Okay, so I was exaggerating here, of course, but the reality is that my practice space can get pretty messy from time to time, and it can be really distracting. Maybe go around your practice space and take a look at all your gear and make a list of improvements or repairs you'd like to make. If it's in your signal chain, it could use your love. Do you remember back in elementary school, every once in a while there would be show and tell? So the idea was you'd go home, pick out an object, bring it back to the class, and then you tell them a little story about it. I think in a way that kind of sets the stage for, or at least provides a way to think about tip number 3, which is reconnect to your musical inspirations. And so what I mean here is think about what inspired you to pick up the guitar in the first place, and then re-engage with that. And so actually for me, a huge part of the reason I wound up playing guitar is because of my grandfather. I found this old guitar that he had kicking around. It was this gold Zimgar, kind of crazy looking thing. And I started noodling around with it one day. And he found out, and I kind of thought I was going to get in trouble, but instead he sat me down, showed me how to tune it by ear, and then also taught me sort of my first chord, which was this funky, oversimplified version of a G chord. 1 finger on the 3rd fret, and you just go to town on that. So after he showed me that, I kind of kept at it, I kept playing, and after a while he gifted me the guitar. And I guess that kind of gets us to the show and tell portion of this. I thought I'd share some of the things that kind of inspired me when I was a younger player, and when I think about this tip of reconnecting to your inspiration, these are some of those things. AC/DC. Instant Smile. Green Day, particularly the Dookie album. That's a fun time. Led Zeppelin. I don't know how you hear that and don't want to just kind of plug in and strum away. ZZ Top. So Billy Gibbons, just real original, that sort of gutsy, raw, authentic kind of playing. I think I'm noticing a theme here. Is I just like people who play from the gut, from the heart. That's some fun stuff. Last but certainly not least, this kind of comes full circle to that Zimgar I was talking about before, which my grandfather ultimately gifted to me, and it came with this strap. Oh my goodness, look at that beauty. How could you not want to smash some tasty licks when you've got this thing slung over your shoulder? And so it sounds silly, but if I'm having an off day thinking about this strap that guitar, those experiences with my grandfather, and some of this music, it's like a really easy way to just kind of pivot, snap out of it, and find like a new sort of mindset and just kind of go for it and have some fun. What I really want to encourage you to do is think about what is going to be most meaningful for you, right? What is the thing that got you inspired? Engage with what you love, right? So authenticity in guitar playing is probably really important. And so being authentic to yourself and your roots, and like, don't worry about what other people think about it. And it doesn't matter what that was. If it made you happy, then go for it, listen to what you love, play what you love, and it, hopefully that'll put a smile on your face and help you break through that kind of guitar rut. Don't worry about what other people think of it, whether it's quote unquote cool or not. There's plenty of dorky things that are also awesome, and who's to say what dorky is anyway in the first place? If you like it, it's rad, rock on. So it's a new day. I'm filming in a new direction. I've got different clothes on, and all of this ties in a really kind of meaningful way to tip number 4, which is try something new. Now, this is probably my most favorite tip of the lot, and that's probably because there's just so many things that you can dream of in this space. For now, I thought I'd just share a few of the ideas to sort of get the ball rolling because, it turns out that new experiences kind of release a flood of dopamine in the brain. So put another way, new stuff literally makes us happy. I've been thinking of this 4th tip in sort of 3 categories, and those are break the rules, try something new, and try some... Wait a second, that's the tip. The categories are break the rules, try some new gear, try some new techniques. In terms of the rules, it's guitar. How many rules can there really be, right? If you think about a guitarist like Tom Morello, for example, here's somebody who's thought outside of the box and has done some really innovative stuff to great effect. So the point is just try some goofy stuff and see what comes out of it. Use a beer bottle as a slide, bend a string behind the nut, messing around with the order of your pedals. Just try something completely new. Try some ridiculous amp settings and see what happens. I've seen a guitarist named Phil X who's played with bands like Bon Jovi and many others, actually screw one of his strings to his pickup, using the screw in his pickup to make this really high-pitched sound. He's also used his cell phone to broadcast sounds into his pickup, and lots of pickup stuff. The point is, it's outside of the box thinking. I'm sure he's having a blast, and I think we can all learn from that. Okay, that's enough of that. Having an outburst, I guess, in a way is a way to try something new. Just shake it off. But we're moving on to the part where we're talking about new gear. And I guess in terms of new gear, sky's the limit, right? But I don't think that you have to spend a whole bunch of money to reap the benefits here. In a way, this tip works really nicely in conjunction with tip number 2 about taking care of your gear, taking care of your space. Try a new gauge of string or a new brand. If you've been using the same type of pick for years, try a different pick. I know I use these Jazz 3s a lot. They're cool. They're really articulate. But every once in a while, I like to go back to a full-size pick and maybe something that's really thin and gets a nice sort of strummy sound.
For those big old cowboy chords.
Kind of love that. If you don't use a slide, maybe try one of those. You can get them in glass, steel, brass. I've got this little product kicking around by Tone. It's called Finger Ease, and it's basically a guitar string lubricant. Lubricant. You spray it on your strings, and it really kind of helps slicken things up. I've seen Peter Frampton's guitar tech put this on his Les Pauls before a show I saw in New York City back in the day. So there's that. Other ideas are like pedals, for example. I know I'm a bit of a pedal junkie. It's really fun to play around with the different sounds and tones that they can create. If you got a bunch of pedals already, maybe it could be a good time to finally go ahead and get a pedal board to stay organized, or move from a sort of daisy chain power supply to a traditional block power supply. A guitar stand to help organize your guitars. Try something new. Grab some gear that either might inspire you or can help you to stay organized or take better care of your gear, and you don't have to spend $1 million to do it. Get what works for you. New techniques are free of charge. You can begin applying them today. Shipping times are really great. And perhaps more so than anything on this list, they will really help extend your vocabulary as a guitar player. There are so many things that come to mind in this space. It's hard to know where to even start. But I think the key is this. If there's something that you haven't been doing a whole heck of a lot of on the guitar, or haven't tried at all, that might be a thing to go ahead and focus in on. Do things like hybrid picking, trying different chord voicing, shifting from legato to more staccato style playing, practicing arpeggios or tapping. Whatever the case may be, keep your ears open. What are other guitarists that you like doing? And go ahead and research that. See what that's all about and try that new technique. Last but certainly not least, Tip number 5, take a break. Put your feet up, lay out, grab yourself a favorite beverage, snacky poo, a nappy poo, actual poo. I don't know what you're up to over there. Take care of yourself. There is like some research out there that shows the average adult can only focus on a single particular task for about 20 minutes at a time. And so if it's been 20 minutes and you're ready to crack your head against the wall because you've been trying that same run over and over and over and you're just not getting it, it's probably time to like step back, let your brain have some downtime, and come back to it refreshed. So a small break, a large break, that's not a loss. It's a smart way to set yourself up for a huge win. Well, there you have it. And on behalf of myself and 7 sharp 9 chords everywhere, remember that the guitar can be a challenging instrument, and not every day is going to be as silky smooth as Rick Astley's voice or Bret Michaels' leather pants. If you are having an obstacle here and there, you're having a challenging day, congratulations. It probably means that you're pushing yourself to become an increasingly better artist, and it's a good sign of continual growth and progress on the instrument. I hope that you find some of these tips help you stay inspired as a guitar player, and I would love to know, what are some of the strategies that you all use when you're having a challenging practice session? What gets you motivated, inspired, keeps you playing? Drop me a line in the comment and let's have a bit of a chat about that. Feel free to give a thumbs up or subscribe. I'll be trying to really focus in on guitar gear and the pursuit of musical happiness above all else. So thanks for watching, great hanging out with y'all, and we'll see you next time. Until then, play what you love and have a tremendous day.